LiteFinance, the world of financial freedom.
Good morning, we have Monday, November 28th. Let's start with the market forecast. So, a new week and new deal. This week is going to be quite interesting. It is the turn of the month, it is one thing, and the calendar itself is loaded to the brim with the macro data on the other. So, Monday, as usual, a little weaker day in this respect, but on Tuesday we have a change in unemployment in Germany, preliminary Eurozone CPI, Canadian GDP, and Powell will testify before the Senate committee. Monday's speech is a publication of a pre-recorded video during some insignificant New York City event, so it can be avoided. From Tuesday to Wednesday night, Australian GDP, then during the day, manufacturing PMI from Germany, Great Britain, and later also from the US. Still on this day also ADP employment change and beige book. Thursday and Friday are quite interesting. At night we'll receive data on retail sales from Australia, and during the day one of the most important events this week, i.e. an OPEC meeting at which cartel and partner countries may decide to suspend the monthly increase in production amid fear of a situation with a new variant Omicron, and how this could affect international shipping and potential lockdowns. And the other thing they need to take into consideration is the release of US oil reserves. Friday is a new month, which is the first Friday of the month, and thus the NFP publication. Apart from payrolls, several other important data will be published. So now let's move on to discuss some important issues for this week. And let's start with the new variant. Here the issue is not yet clear, of course. Lockdown supporters are already in a hurry to forecast that it is 1,000 times more contagious than the Delta, but nothing is yet confirmed. We only know from the reports of doctors from South Africa, for example, that so far they have met only mild cases. Interestingly, it was first detected in people vaccinated with 2 doses, and they were people on a diplomatic mission in South Africa. An interesting situation, but I will leave the assessment to you. What is rather certain is that the upcoming sessions will see a lot of volatility before the market evaluates the potential risk of lockdowns and related effects. It can be assumed from the social mood that they are unlikely to be draconian. At least I think in the United States, and with the exception of California and New York, where fanaticism rules over common sense and nobody would do anything there, even if a dictatorship was introduced. On the other hand, the rest of the states where Democrats rules could be lost in the next elections after the introduction of strong lockdowns. In addition, the Americans calculated that the potential lockdowns are worse than the virus itself. What they mean here is hunger, unemployment, and the further stratification of society is worse, or put it differently, worse in consequences than possible hospitalization and death from infection. In addition, we saw what happened recently in the Netherlands or even in Vienna and Brussels. We also received interesting conclusions from Japan, where the pandemic ended overnight, we could say. Doctors from Tokyo, and when examining the situation, observed that the virus mutated so strongly and at such a rate that it most likely lost its ability to heal itself and to replicate, which in short means that it annihilated itself. As for oil and the release of some strategic reserves, we already have the first report that the 18 million barrels that have been approved for sale so far are being purchased by China and India, which explains why they were so eager to participate in this coordinated release of reserves. The rest, that is 32 million, are to go to US consumers. So we have to wait for the Thursday OPEC meeting and more information on restrictions imposed globally to learn about the further development of the situation on oil market. As if the new variant has fallen from the sky, saving the situation on the commodities market. And yeah, please forgive me for this sarcasm. I am not a supporter of any theory, but looking at what is happening in the world, it's hard not to ask questions. So let's go to the charts now. And I would not want to discuss oil because at the moment it is a reading of coffee grounds more than usually, if you know what I mean, of course. While at the moment the situation is dynamic, And if the price were to rise, I would like to see the defense of 61.8 Fibo. And if the direction to the south would be the scenario, I would want to see the break of this Fibo level and go down to the support marked in blue. The question of what's next, we will have to observe the charts and information on a regular basis. So in this situation, I would take a euro pound to observe that in a moment we can have a signal for a long trade from the indicators, and we are still defending broken resistance, which can be seen on the left. At the end, an interesting situation on ETH, on Ethereum. The bullish triangle was played with an already known motive, a false breakout to get everyone in the long position, the alloys collapse, and probably the continuation of going up without a streets will occur, which was looking for longs here. So this is a very typical theme to play in an up or down triangle. So you can see it very often on almost any asset. And yeah, this is my scenario at the moment for the Ethereum. So yeah, thank you for today. Thanks, and yeah, goodbye till next time.